¿Cómo estás? Let me see. I was trying to flex on you, but it didn't work out. My brain kind of stopped all of a sudden. I am Jaws Blake. This is the Painter's Breakfast. I am said painter. How are you? Ryan! Hey, brother. Painter's Breakfast show. Bon dia. There we go. Yeah, life is good, man. How is everyone? Everybody have breakfast? Was it good? Did you like it? Will you have it again? You thinking about it? Contemplating it? Maybe. Just getting through everything, you know? Dealing with food and life and art and family and all these things. I had dinner with my little sister yesterday, Alec, and her friend, whose name I believe is Monica. I hope so. Hope I get that right. Hey, triathlete. I don't know what to call you. Hello. Yeah, so I got to hang out with her and her friend, and that was cool. Talking about the intricacies of life. How we kind of traverse everything. It was good. It was nice. Today's meal, because everybody always asks, is from takomaBevco, which is the Mediterranean salad. I cooked up some veggie sausage to go with it for protein. Surprisingly, like, the carbohydrate rate on the veggie sausage is actually super, super low. So I'm happy about that, because that means I can eat it regularly if I want to. And there's a bit of trans fats, but I'm working out every day for at least about 15 to 30 minutes. So I'm okay. I drink a lot of water. I got a nice coffee from Bevco with oat milk. What's up, season ticket? Oh my goodness. This is difficult to do this. There we go. How's it going? And so yeah, the diet is, it's getting better. It's getting better. Yesterday was kind of crazy. We ordered a bunch of food to be delivered from the grocery store. And got it. Some of it was rotten. So we got a refund on that. Sunday's always kind of one of those days where it's not a cheat day, but it's definite to say that, like, it could be. I'm a little more lax on my carb intake on Sundays. I don't go crazy. But I'm more gentle on myself. For those who don't know, my name is Jaws Blake. I am a painter. I'm also diabetic. So these are things I have to put into consideration. So yeah, I got Basquiat, I got my geode, I got my big ass mug, I got my salad. I feel pretty good. I feel like today is just going to continue to be a beautiful day. I no longer have to worry about hornets on my porch. Took care of that yesterday. Don't like having to do stuff like that, but I like to go on my porch and just sit, and it's kind of dangerous. Particularly for Alec. We tried all these different things to get rid of them. To, like, just annoy them so they would go away. Even like rubbing alcohol. You put it in a bag and you put it over where it is and you just tie it. And they fly off. Oh yeah. Definitely. Absolutely. Um, yeah, and that didn't work. The Hornet thing didn't work. So then we eventually had to get to the point where we just kind of bombed them with like a Hornet killer. Mm. That's that. All over now. For the most part, I'm pretty excited. I finally have a upcoming show at the end of the month in downtown DC, so that'll be cool. It's the Caribbean Diaspora Festival. Your boy was a requested artist, so that was cool. So I'll have that show. I'll take photos. I don't know what it's going to be like, to be completely honest, though. I know it's a sober show, so that typically brings in a different audience, which is good. Um, like bar shows typically are kind of a mess. Like they're a fun group of people, but they're also kind of belligerent after a while. All my food noises. They get kind of crazy and rowdy, and sometimes insulting towards the end of the night. So I'm not gonna worry about that. It'll be a lot of my like 8x8 work with the little guys because I don't know how big everything's gonna be. So we'll see. I also wanna like I wanna have like a banner for my tables for my shows. So I have to get that made eventually. I'm not really sure where to get that done. I think I'm just gonna probably have to scan something, make something, scan something, and then order it online. So that'll be interesting. I don't think I'll be able to get it by the 30th. So it's okay. Life, life kind of happens that way. Maybe I'll just go to like Party City and just get like one of those weird little happy birthday banners. Be like, whatever. It's kind of always funny. I do think it's weird though, because like I'll do these shows and then randomly somebody will find out I speak Portuguese, and then will come up to me and like test me out of nowhere. I'm like talking to all these people and having these conversations, and out of nowhere I get "Bom dia." I'm like, "Bom dia." Oi, tudo bem? And I'm like, "Tudo bom? What's up? How's it going?" And they just go on this like long spiel, and I'm just like, I can't. Although I've been studying Portuguese for a very long time, and I've been speaking it for a very long time now, there's still that aspect of like trying to translate two languages in your head at the same time. Because one group of people talking to you this way, and another group of people talking to you this way, and your brain just goes, meh. Like I can do it, but it's definitely it's not pretty. I would like it to be pretty. It's not pretty. You know, life. DC has an interesting side to it where you have very like upper crusty type of art fans, and then you have like very low, like high energy, low yield art fans oftentimes, and so like you want to find somebody who's in the middle, and occasionally you do, but typically it's like snotty art goers. This would never be in the Hirschhorn type of people, and then you have also the other type, which is like I said, oh my God, this is so good. If I had money, I'd totally buy this. And you're like, well, thank you. That's really nice of you. I appreciate the compliment. Would you like a card? My name's Jaws. How's it going? So I figured out my outfit for the show. That's right. Your boys thought about all the different aspects of it. For the record, I'm gonna wear my custom Dickies coveralls. Look, some patches on them, and like painted stuff on them. You can paint something on a piece of like cloth or something. Yeah, no, it's not a bad idea actually. Maybe I'll go by like Michael's or something and buy like a yard or so, and then just paint something. Maybe tie some rope and just do the thing. That's not a bad idea actually. That's a really good idea, Ryan. That's why I love my art friends. My art friends have such like they see it from these other perspectives that you're not looking at or thinking about at the time. It's much better than the Party City idea. Kudos to you, sir. It's just nice. So I have to figure out where Michael's is. I think I know where Michael's is. I don't know if there's still cloth though. I'll have to find out. It used to be like you'd go to all these places, and they would have like patterns and cloth, and it was just everywhere. Keep bagging. What's up, buddy? And yeah, you'd go and like there was like cloth and there was all these things and it was just it was everywhere. Maybe it was just like this really DIY Hobby Lobby. Yeah, this is true. I definitely don't know where Hobby Lobby is. I think I know where a couple Michaels are. I'll have to Google it and just go. There's nothing I can really go past that. Walmart might have it too. I don't know. We'll see. The adventure will be legendary. Yeah. No, I'm just excited. I'm excited about the show. I haven't done a show in many, many years because of the pandemic. So, I ran into Zoe today. That was cool. She's this super tattooed up, cool lady that I've known forever. She's like a city realtor. So she rents out commercial spaces. It's just cool. I mean, I wish I could. I think years upon years ago, I wanted to rent a space close to where I am. to just do like one-off shows. The problem with one-off shows are people have figured out from 20 years ago that they can charge you like an obscene fee for one night. It's like a crazy prorate type of thing, and you're just like, yeah, no. Like, it's an empty rental space. Like building. And they want like $1,000 or something, and you're like, no. Or like $400 or $500, and I'm like, no. That is crazy. I don't know how to say that. Baishi? Aixi Baishi? I'm guessing it's Portuguese. It's my guess. And yeah, it just became like this super commercial thing where they were just like, cool, so you are obviously trying to do something low budget, so it is my job to then figure out how to make it a high budget item. And you're like, no, that doesn't really work though. I don't know, don't they know it's called starving artists for a reason? I was like, yeah, basically. But you see it all the time though, like you go into like parts of downtowns and stuff, and they've got like artist lofts, artist studio lofts you can't live in for like $3,000 a month, and you're just like, who is this for? Most of those buildings are empty because they can't get enough people, if anybody, to go into them. Because it's not a realistic ask. There's always like that one person who's just like, no, you don't understand. Like, you say nobody does it, but somebody's got to be doing it. And you're like, no, not all the time. Sometimes nobody's doing it. There's so many buildings you go to downtown that are like high expensive lofts, and like the building manager lives in them. And maybe the owners of the building live there. And that's really about it, honestly. Like it's honestly kind of shocking at night to drive past some of those places and just see how dark they are. You see the windows, and from the windows, it looks like multiple apartments or condos or studios are filled up. But in actuality, because they're so big, that's like 1 or 2 units. Period. I mean, if it's rich enough, it's several floors. I think people oftentimes like see impossible things and they wanna relate to them, so they build up this like fake story in their minds about this whole thing. And I was like, oh, well, this person who moved in must be like an heiress to a fortune from Jolly Green Giant. And their family passed away. And now they live there alone. They go to parties, and they throw these extravagant balls, and they do these things or whatever. They like wax these pros about them, and none of it's genuinely true at all. Like, it's very strange. It's very strange to see something ridiculous that like people are so hell bent to come up with an idea that it's relatable. that they'll bend over backwards in their own minds to make it relatable. And then they'll get mad at you because you don't think it's relatable, which is like, you've insulted their best friend all of a sudden. Me and the Duchess have been friends forever. And you're like, you don't know any of these people. You don't even know anybody who lives there. That's a dope story, but it's definitely not realistic. I know, right? It's silly. It's this ridiculous idea that, like, it's all feasible, it's all realistic, it's all real, and it's like you don't understand on a very basic level. These investors don't have the problems you have. They don't worry, like, they're worried about portfolios, they're not worried about money. So they see these things and they charge these outlandish prices for stuff and it stays empty. Maybe they rent it out to a business. Maybe they simply just write it off as a loss and make money that way. Like, it's weird to see like how some of this stuff works, where like you get to the point, some people get to the point where like they're making money on losing money. That's how much money they have. Like, everything's insured, your failure is insured. So you can charge like outlandish prices and unrealistic ideas of what you think stuff's going to be. Because it doesn't really matter. It's just strange. Because in the meantime, like, the rest of us would just like to have like a one-up show. And I'm like, present myself. It's all just kind of strange. But we do what we can. We get stuff to work on what we can do. Now, to take a turn real quick, somebody was saying recently to me, we're talking about Kanye West. They're saying recently to me, they felt like how the world had turned on him was unjustified. I do not believe that at all. I think he said some crazy shit, and he's been a mess, and it's sad to watch, but it's also infuriating at the same time. And it's infuriating because when he was acting crazy before, he was creating things. And you see this with Basquiat, you see this with a lot of very famous artists who come from oftentimes black and brown communities, where like if they're making stuff, it doesn't matter what their behavior is. So you get like rappers who are getting into trouble and all this stuff. They're creating stuff so people can still bump to them, so it's fine. But it's once they stop creating stuff and they start acting crazy, and that becomes the main thing that they're doing, then they're held accountable. Then they should be looked at and maybe thought of there's some type of psychological thing or whatever. And you see it with like, I mean, it's not just black and brown, but for my example, that's the case. And it's just one of those things where, yeah, if we see someone who's entertaining, who's having a rough go, there's a certain aspect where like they're just kind of egged on. There's so many problematic people who have a platform
who like it would just be better if they just didn't. Like the machine essentially makes you work until you break. And you have all these people who have these weird theories. The man tried to take you out. He's trying to get rid of you because you finally said something that made sense, and it's like that's ridiculous. This person is currently having a mental breakdown. I'm just saying we need to support people better. A lot of artists I know go through all types of turmoil. And when that turmoil stops being either entertainment or they stop making what brings people to the table, we kind of do this. I'm not saying this for Kanye in any way. He's very wealthy. He's surrounded by other people. You gotta figure it out. But I don't know. I think about like Basquiat. He was a very sad artist who tried really hard and partied way too hard and then died. And I think had there been a better support system for him, maybe he'd be alive today. You know? Just a thought. I think a lot of artists, we used to live in like these big like art communities where artists would all kind of interact with each other and support each other and go to your shows, and we would build you up and say all these nice things and have shows, like so, and bring people on, and it was just this cool vibe of like togetherness and wholeness. And as I've gotten older, there's just kind of a distance. And I'd love to just have like a crew. I'd love to have a crew of artists that I work with every time I do anything. We do events, and maybe I'll get there one day. I don't know. But I think it's good to dream about those things, you know? I agree with that, buddy. People need support from other people. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, I just think it's important. I think we've come a long way, but I think we could do more. So I finished my meal. I still got my coffee. Basquiat looks full. So I will talk to you next week. Have a great one. Thank you for joining me. Painter out. Ciao. Bye. Boop. Still pressing button. Eventually. Bam. Goodbye, Gladys.